Today I'm really excited to get this Westin front bumper installed on my trail boss. It's eventually going to hold a winch, but we got to get this installed first, so let's get to it. First thing we got to do is take the factory front bumper off. I've already uninstalled my bull bar. Now I've got to pop loose the grill. This is a really easy process. You just need a trim removal tool to pop all the clips loose. Before you can take this cover off, you've got to take loose these two screws with a T15 from the hood latch. It'll slide right off, and then you can take the cover loose. Take a 10mm socket to all 4 bolts holding the grill on. Now comes the not so fun part, and that's popping this grill loose. It's easy but scary at the same time. Hopefully I won't break any clips. No clips were hurt in the making of this video. Underneath this plastic piece, there's 2 bolts we'll need to get to. I was able to take a trim remove tool and pop that loose and move it out of the way. The first one is an 18mm, and the second one is a 13mm. Same thing on this side, pull back the flap, an 18mm and a 13mm. Climbing under the truck, we've got to take loose these 2 bolts that are connected to the frame. Remove these bolts with an 18mm, and I'll remove this bolt. All right guys, we're loose. Time to take it off. So it looks like the only connection you'll need to take loose is this guy right here. There's a red tab, you pop that back, and then you can release it. We're now gonna insert our brackets into the frame. Notice that there's a D on here for driver's side, so that'll go just like this. Take one of your longer bolts with a washer on it and slide that through. On the other side, you'll take a washer, a lock washer, and the nut. We'll also take another long bolt going through the top. Take one of the shorter screws and thread that into the bracket. You'll find a plate in the hardware. You want to take your smaller bolt and it goes right here. The brackets for the winch tray will go right here, so we do need to take this off. Take that off with a 19mm. There's one other bolt right here. You'll take that off with a 10mm. Now that the other piece is out of the way, you'll take 2 bolts and go straight through there. And then just loosely secure the bracket. Same process on the passenger side. I've got everything mounted and ready to go, so now we can install our winch tray. I highly recommend using a jack to raise that winch tray up, and then we'll install 2 bolts right here and then 1 right in here on both sides. We're now ready to install the main brackets, but this piece has got to come off, and then we'll reuse 2 of the factory bolts. Then install a bolt through the top. We're pretty much done with the bracket assembly. You just want to make sure you leave everything loose so we can line things up. So let's move on to the bumper. If you have a truck that does not have the front sensors, they give you these mesh screens. Now I've got sensors, so I'm gonna show you how to take those out and install those right there. To get to the front sensors, we've got to remove all of this in order to pop those out. Take a small screwdriver and bend that back a little bit, and then you'll do the same thing on this side, and then it should pop out. To get the holder for the sensor, just take your screwdriver and you'll see clips around the sides. Just push those in a little bit, and eventually they should come out. Getting these installed in the new pieces, you'll want to flare back out those clips just a little bit without trying to break those, and then we'll take it and you'll line it up and you'll twist until you feel where that groove is, and then push forward and you should be good and installed. These will install on the back side of the bumper. You just put your bolt through like that, Take your nut on the back side and a screw on this side. And then tighten them up with a 10mm socket and a T25. I went ahead and ran all the wiring. I had to use an extension cable on this side and then also an extension cable on this side. Hopefully all the wiring harness is out of the way for this to slide onto the brackets. There's your factory connection right there. I also went ahead and installed the screen where the LED bar will eventually go. So let's get this on the truck to see how it looks. At this point, you'll want to measure the outside of the main brackets to see where they land. And it looks like it's right around 36 7/8. So the inside will need to be 36 7/8 for this to line up correctly. Once they're set, we can now start to tighten everything up and then put the bumper on. Okay guys, while putting this on, I noticed something that I have got to change. You'll notice you can see the fender liner right here. So I'm gonna take this bracket off and I'm gonna have to trim that fender liner. I'm all done making that modification. I tried to cut it as well as I could to follow the line, and then on the other side, this is how it turned out as well. So you've got it cut up front right there, and then right here inside, I just kind of followed a line. So now we can put the bumper back on. The last thing to do is tighten down these 3 bolts with a 19mm, attaching the bumper to the brackets. That pretty much wraps up the bumper installation. Now I am gonna add the LED lights down the road, and I'm also gonna add that super winch. But I want y'all to see what this bumper looks like without the accessories on it. So let me throw the grill back on and we'll check it out. This is how she looked before with the Lund Revolution bull bar and the factory Chevy bumper. I have always been a fan of having a bull bar up front and still think it looks great. Here's how she looks now, and I have to say, this Pro Series bumper looks freaking awesome. Super aggressive look, and love that I am now able to use my park assist sensors. My Trail Boss looks more like a ZR2 with the bonus option of a winch and off-road lights. I may even attach some red shackles to the front. Well guys, I do think that the installation instructions could have definitely been better, but I'm very happy with the way this turned out. I do think it's going to look really good with the lights and the winch installed. I'll be getting to that soon, so make sure you don't miss out on those next videos. If you like this one, make sure you hit the thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do so. Until next time, see y'all.